Hey, this is Dan from MusicXplorer. We're here today with Bob Burger. He's a well-known musician in the New Jersey music scene. And he's got a lot of credit behind him, including working with Donnie Iris, Styx, Bobby Bandera, Glenn Burtnick, and many others. And he's in the band The Weeklings. Give us some history on your background and how you got into the music business.
Like a lot of people my age, the big inspiration was, seeing the Beatles on Ed Sullivan. I was in a number of bands and played in Erie in a lot of bands up until I moved to New Jersey. But I was in college my first year, and I was playing in a band, and we got an offer from an agent to go on the road. So I dropped out of college to go on the road, and of course it fell through within a week. And I went on the road with a band called The Pulse for 3 years, and we toured around the Midwest and a little bit over, actually even in New Jersey. We played in Florida and different places, and it was great. We had a couple singles out. The guitarist in the band, my dear friend Marty Lee, left the band to join Donnie Iris, which is how I had the connection with Donnie. And at that point, then I left and moved to New Jersey.
Musically, what happened to you in New Jersey once you moved here?
My brother was also in the band in Erie, and he also moved to New York. And so the two of us started a band. We found some local guys and got to be like a house band up at the bitter end, which was pretty cool. Glenn Burtnick was a friend of the drummer in that band, and Glenn came down to hear us play and asked me if I would like to write songs with him. Very exciting to me, and so I said sure, and we've been friends and songwriting collaborators ever since. Over the last, a bunch of years, 10 years or so, Glenn has put on these Beatle Bash shows up at State Theater in New Brunswick, and I've been involved kind of doing the Lennon part of it, and John Rajabi doing the Harrison guitar. And I said, well, let's make a record. Well, let's take the songs that the Beatles that they wrote but didn't record, imagine them as though the Beatles had actually arranged them, and record that. Which was basically the genesis of our first album.
Your second album, Studio 2, was the Beatles actually recorded in Studio 2, so you recorded in Studio 2. What brought you to do that?
It was Glenn's idea, actually, and I, at the time, didn't think we were ready to do that, and it was expensive to do that. But, you only live once, and to go to Studio 2 where the Beatles were and stand in the spot where they stood, and the amazing thing about Abbey Road Studios and Studio 2 is the fact that it has not been changed since the early 60s. 5 of the songs that we recorded at Abbey Road in that session ended up on the 3 album.
Your latest album came out this year, in January, just recently, and the song In the Moment is getting a lot of airplay, and it's top 10 on Sirius Radio.
Yeah,
so.
In the Moment was actually recorded at the Abbey Road session, but we really took a very different approach with the record. It's the first record we've done in stereo. The first 2 albums were in mono. It's my favorite record of what we've done because sonically it's pretty superior to the other ones. I was asked to play a party in the Hamptons for John Bon Jovi. It was on a Saturday night in September, which is really weird that everybody was available, and it was one of those strange days where everything goes right. And weather was absolutely beautiful. And we're doing a sound check with John, and he says, there's a chance that Paul McCartney's going to come tonight. I said, really? He goes, I don't think he's going to come. It's like a 25% chance. I think he's having trouble at home, but he might come. So we said, okay. So, we got to playing the party. First part, people having dinner, not very exciting. And then at some point, and then John came up to sing, and then everybody kind of hit the dance floor. And then one by one, the rock stars came up. So first Billy Joel came up, and he did a bunch of songs. He was fabulous. And then Jimmy Buffett came up, and then Paul McCartney came up, and Roger Waters came up. When McCartney came up, he goes, well, what are we going to do? And I said, okay, how about Long Tall Sally? And he says, oh, yeah, okay, let's do that. Key of G, original key, no warm-up. Bang, right there. And so we did it. It was awesome. It was incredible. Then when Paul and the other superstars left the stage, Paul's son was there too, James, and he played with us, and he stayed on the stage. So Paul wasn't going anywhere because his son was on the stage. So we went into, and they said, what are we going to do now? And I said, well, the only one thing we can do is play all Beatles songs for the rest of the night. That's the only choice. So we did. And, I still have etched in my brain the image of Paul McCartney on the dance floor dancing to Back in the USSR and going, back and US back out in the audience while I'm singing it. Surrealistic dream material.